windy. What is up with that?
Well, it's windy up here too. And I think we had rain earlier.
Oh, okay. We didn't quite have rain. That might be too much.
We are officially live now, though.
Oh, yay. Okay.
So that's something. Hey, everyone. Matt Landfair here, primary and secondary. Welcome to ModCast. Today's episode, let's see here. How do I give the background to this? So there I was, minding my own business. I was attending this training. Really, really good training. This was training that it was invite only. High caliber participants. And when I say high caliber, I mean, and I said it during the training too, these are people that I want to associate. These are people I really enjoy hanging out with. Hosted by Larry Correa, author. The training was taught by Citizens Defense Research. I've known them for a long time. Also wonderful people. Several of the instructors I have on here frequently. They're still coming back for some reason. So there I was in this training, and this is this past weekend. That's why you see it's dark here and light here. Funny how that works. And there's also sunburn on just my hands because I kept long sleeves on. Sunscreen, what's that? So I'm minding my own business, and this is day one. And Caleb Giddings is one of the instructors. Caleb says, "Yeah, someone else is going to be coming a little later. A content creator." I don't think he said influencer. I think he said content creator.
Did he really? How respectful.
Yeah. And I said, "Oh, okay." And this person shows up, and okay. And we go through the class, and she's next to me, and I find out this is the first time she's ever shooting a revolver. And clearly, just based on what I'm saying, okay, yeah, she shot before, clearly. I didn't know that this is the first time she shot a revolver. And she was shooting a Taurus 692 that Taurus loaned, or that Caleb loaned. And so Caleb told me more and said, yeah, she does a podcast. She does content creation. She's trained with, and then he starts to rattle off this list of people that I know. And it's not some rando. These aren't just randos. And so with this in mind, I'm not by any means the end all be all knower of all things that are good, right, and relevant. I kind of stick to my own little niche. I don't watch that much content outside of a couple things. And so then I find out here's this woman who's been to all this really good training, has a impressive pedigree. She just had her 4th ECQC course just that week. Or I still don't have one. And so I talked to her and I said, "Hey, I understand you're in the podcast world." And we started talking. And as the conversation continued, I had the normal epiphany. We should have recorded this. This should have been an episode, because that's how a lot of my conversations, especially with people who have an idea, how these go. And
absolutely.
That was Sofia. So yeah, and then she missed out because she couldn't. She had prior engagements. But
I did.
Man, she missed out because the rest of the class, the revolver only. So day one was kind of an intro, which was a wonderful refresher. Day 2 was revolver centric. Days 3 and 4 were much more performance based. Doesn't matter whether you're running semi-auto or revolver, it's performance based. Really good drills. Really, those guys do a great job. Then in the evening, you go to Larry's house if you can, and you play this role-playing game. And Larry, being a very successful author, he is a very good storyteller. And what winds up happening is he leads this story very well, where all the students are now participants in this game as various characters. And she missed out.
I did.
Awesome. So we talked a little bit, discussing, okay, what should we do for this episode? I was just on her show yesterday. And as per the norm, man, I went over on time. For some reason, okay. When there's a podcast and me, we go over on time. Yeah. But we were talking about different topics. We were talking about women in the industry because it's been
Mhm.
years since I did an episode like that. We talked about a couple other things. Then I thought, wait a minute. Why don't we just focus on her by herself to find out, because you're fairly new
Yes.
to not only the gun industry, but also being a gun owner. And clearly you've done something right. Or you have mapped out, this is it almost sounds like this is like the ideal trajectory. This is the ideal when it comes to investments in guns, gear, and training. Man, the people that know who you are and that you've trained with. So I texted Chuck Haggard saying, yeah,
Oh, nice.
Sophia's going to
Love
be
Chuck.
on tomorrow. And he had
Fantastic.
some awesome things to say.
Oh, yay.
And,
Okay.
and I said, and what was it? There was something, we discussed something about how, it's impressive that she acknowledges her injuries and doesn't hide them. And yeah, you know what? This is what happened. And it's part of training, and just it's been embraced. So I'm going to stop talking before I start. Yeah, but before I hand this over to you, my favorite thing to say, usually at the end of the episode, but I'm going to say it definitely at the beginning. This goes out to all the listeners, all the viewers. Make sure that you, as a content consumer, make sure that you are supporting those sources that you have found to be beneficial. What I mean by that is those algorithms do not work in our favor, because I have all these fake guns,
Totally fake.
behind me.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a strike against me. This is why I'm no longer on YouTube. Oh no, I'm good, because I'm not on YouTube. Because YouTube yanked my channel. But make sure you're supporting those sources, because typically, gun-related content automatically gets a strike. It doesn't get the shares, it doesn't get the likes, and it's just because of the damn algorithm. So you, as a listener, you got to support those sources. You got to support those channels. You got to support those content creators, because your likes, your shares, your comments all help reinforce that content and help put it in the front of the line. So if you're not doing that, you're doing your favorite content creators a disservice. That includes everything primary and secondary. And I'm not saying, yes, you have to. Please do, if you do find it beneficial. And it doesn't have to, it doesn't have to be primary and secondary related content. It can be competitors. It can be, and when I say competitor, I mean competitors, primary and secondary. It can be whatever. It doesn't matter. Just make sure you're doing those likes, the shares, the subscriptions, and the comments, because that really helps. Additionally, with primary and secondary, I do these are both video and they're also audio only. Make sure you're hitting both venues. So with that in mind, supporting those sources that you have found to be beneficial. Sophia, what's the deal?
What's the deal? Whoa, dude. No one's ever opened up a conversation like that, but I like it. I think I should start doing that on my own podcast. But yes,
what the hell?
Well,
yeah.
Right. Thank you so much for that introduction. That was beautiful. I think it's great that you also use it as an opportunity to plug Citizen Defense Research, Caleb Giddings, that whole group. They're fantastic. I agree that I missed out. I had prior engagements, but I was so excited to shoot Revolver for the first time with Caleb. That was really special to me. He's a good friend, and
he's good at what he does.
He's very good at what he does. He's very passionate about it. There's something about talking to people. Yeah, authenticity. We talked about this yesterday on our episode on She Shield, that there's something so wonderful about talking to someone about what they love. I think that's one of the coolest, and the part of that selfish endeavor of podcasting, that you get to kind of capture that passion for an episode and share that with, all the listeners, people who are willing to take a moment for it. So thank you for that introduction. I like this idea that, my trajectory was an ideal one. And as you were saying that, I was trying to think about why I did take the route I did. And I think it's because I came from being a student. I told you yesterday, I dropped out of medical school, got
just
a
like everyone else.
In the time.
Clearly, just like everyone's done that. Yeah.
Obviously. Dropped out of med school, went into a master's degree, purely just wanting to make sure I didn't just have a bachelor's, because my ego needed that at the time.
Yeah.
And then just headfirst into the industry. It gave me some time doing my master's to work as a student and to start developing my path in this industry. But I think because I come from that very heavy student background, I took on concealed carry as something to be a student for. And I valued instruction and having people who are experts in the industry be the ones to guide me through, because I'd always invested in instruction and courses in the past for school. So that kind of was a seamless integration. If I really think about it, it's one that a lot of people don't invest in. And that can be for a myriad of reasons. It can be financial, time, location, family, stress, injury, illness. Gosh, there's so many reasons that, if we think of like our locus of control and our external locus of control, for those parts that are in that external circle, I can totally see why people don't get formalized training. But when it comes to something like a firearm, there's so much to undo if you start I don't want to say the wrong way, but in a sense, in a way that isn't taught by professionals. My favorite student as a firearms instructor, my favorite student is the one who's never shot before. They're so easily moldable, malleable. Those who have, shot with their boyfriend or husband, never received any formal technique, no formal malfunction clearing training, or even just recoil management and just gun manipulations, right? The things that a lot of husbands will do is like load the mags for their wives.
Yeah, hand it to me. I'll do this. Yeah.
Exactly. And so by the time we get in class, they can put shots downrange and the gun doesn't come flying out of their hands, but everything else is needing to be refined. So with all that said, yes, my name is Sofia. For those listening who do not know me, I started my journey in martial arts when I was really young. I wanted to learn how to, I wanted to feel powerful. As a kid, I was put in situations where I felt powerless. And even as like an 8-year-old, I was like, I must learn how to defend myself. By the way, my blinds are moving. Is that loud? Can you hear that?
No, not at all. At least I'm not picking up anything.
Fantastic. I love this mic. I was put in a situation where I felt powerless, wanted to feel empowered, got into a Korean style, very traditional style martial arts with all the forms and like the breaking of the boards. Did that for 7 years, got my black belt, became curious about grappling, the ground fight, because of this traditional art I was in. We weren't allowed to spar on the ground when we would even just naturally fall to the ground. And I didn't feel like that was very applicable to self-defense. So I became curious, went into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, started Muay Thai as well for some closer fight. And for those of you who are kind of familiar with Muay Thai but don't understand it on a technical basis, it's a lot of not just striking with, knuckles, like, jab, cross, hook, uppercut, and kicks, but also knees and elbows, which is really great for that close quarter fight. And I wanted to be proficient at that. During my training, I broke my nose several times. I had my first nose surgery in that time, and I bought a gun, hoping it would be a talisman, a rabbit's foot, something.
Gun when you were 8? Wow.
Oh my God, no. I'm sorry. I should give a timeline. When I was pre-med, about I was 21, I bought my first gun, and I thought that it would just ward off evil, kind of like a talisman. Realized there was so much, right? Realized there was a ton of training that went into it. Realized I had to sacrifice my style to just, carry a gun, and I turned to social media to learn some solutions, and realized, especially at the time, this is when I was 21. So I have to do math really quick. This was maybe no, that's not math. So this was 2019. So this was around COVID time, getting into COVID. And so I was really glad I, had a gun at the time, especially with fear being such a big equation of that time. But started turning to social media, realized there weren't many people speaking on the matter. There were people sharing like their outfits and some cutesy stuff. Around that time, I found Craig Douglas, and I'd started my podcast.
How?
I found him through my co-host at the time. She was only my co-host for the first 20 episodes. We're at episode season 2, but total episodes, about 200 episodes at this point. And she told me about this course she really wanted to take. And he was near, where I was living at the time in Northeast Arkansas. And she was like, dude, if you just drive like 6 hours, you can go take this course, get an Airbnb, you should go. So it was my first formal firearms instruction ever. I took myself to the range and trained with my Glock 19, not really out of the holster much, but started doing like dry fire and live fire to prep for this course, thinking it would be marksmanship heavy for self-defense, and realized very quickly that, marksmanship had very little to do with it. For those of you that aren't familiar, Extreme Close Quarter Concepts by ShivWorks, owned and founded by Craig Douglas, is an opportunity to learn everything from verbal de-escalation, how to actually move when you have someone moving into your space, the use of non-lethals like pepper spray, striking, all the way to learning how to shoot from retention. If this is a new concept to you, kind of think about when you're at conversational distance from someone, you draw your firearm out to full presentation like you're taught maybe by the videos on social media. It may not be the most appropriate thing to do because it can become a fight over the gun. So Extreme Close Quarter Concepts is just that. It's applying the gunfight to that 0 to 5 foot range. And then, of course, with that, we do wrestling, some aspects of jujitsu, groundwork with that as well, and weapons retention. So that was my first exposure. And I remember feeling like I was crazy at the time for letting that be my first course, but I'm so glad it was. It really set the precedent, and Craig is an incredible instructor. He really became a standard for me looking at other instructors moving forward with training. And then I started sharing my own content on social. And, as a woman, not a bad looking one with a gun, people were like, whoa, this is so cool. I'm going to follow you. And I was like, great. I have this audience now. Like I have, people who are giving me their attention, and like, I could use this for good. I could become a platform where I share resources like ECQC, Craig's social media, both ShivWorks and South Narc, his personal page were not very big at the time. And I thought, I could really hold some space for this and help share resources. So that's what I did. And the podcast started scaling. It became primarily an interview podcast like we did yesterday. Yep. And I fell in love with it. I dropped out of med school shortly after that and started really just looking for ways to become better with my firearm. So that led to USPSA. I'm currently a B class shooter for the actual USPSA shooters out there.
And that is an achievement.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It did take some time.
And just like we discussed yesterday, how many gun owners have no idea even what that means?
Right.
And so, and I don't remember who, I think during the training they were talking about, we're talking about a small percent of all gun owners are even that. So,
right. I appreciate that. And for those that actually don't know listening, it's the United States Practical Shooting Association. It's basically like a conglomerate for the shooting sports. So it's movement and shooting, and it is measured in time and accuracy. So you want to be the most accurate you can in the least time possible. That's kind of how I like to summarize that. So I got into USPSA to become more proficient, just handling my firearm, moving with it. I started shooting from inside the waistband once they let that be a thing. That wasn't always approved before. Outside the waistband wasn't really appealing to me. It didn't really apply to me.
Yeah.
I started doing that and became a firearms instructor, wanted to start offering things like draws from concealment, training like draws from concealment, and then had somewhere in the mix, I moved to Utah. I work for and with Lena Michelik. She's one of my best friends, and she got me into shotgun shooting. So I'm also going to the Shotgun World Shoot this year in Greece on the IPSC Ladies Modified team. So that's kind of my whole resume right there, really. So I'm a creator through Fit for FIA. That's my personal page, and I'm my podcast, She Shield Podcast. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
And among that also, so you trained with Haggard and other headliners.
Yes. So
awesome.
Some incredible instructors. I have a page on my website, it's fitforfia.com, and it shows all of the instructors I've trained under, apprenticed under, and kind of the amount of times and years that I've trained with them. I need to update my ECQC one. I think it still has 2 on there, but I got to train with Chuck. His pepper spray unit is what I teach in my classes roughly, just a very truncated version of that. I need to take his actual instructor certification course, but he's someone who brought a formalized structure to pepper spray training. And that was really great for these women that come to me and say, yes, I do have like a saber or palm unit, but I've never actually sprayed it. So that's been integral part to what I do. And then of course I apprenticed under Lena Michalik, taught for her when she was with 6 Hour. And gosh, I've trained with just so many, knife control concepts. That's how I got into blade work. I've done the edge weapon overview with ShivWorks. I've trained with like AJ Zito. I took the Range Master instructor course with Tom Givens, and gosh, I mean, there's a whole list of people I've trained with. I've been very lucky to meet some incredible people. So
that's awesome. So, and I have a question looming. I'm not going to ask though, and it's basically about failures in training. But let's stay on the positives. Because I mean like courses that didn't work out for you.
Oh,
and because I don't want to have any bad stuff about any instructors, and sometimes people have bad days. So you so instead, let's talk about you as an instructor. You have this new shooter. What's the trajectory you like to put them on? What are your personal recommendations for someone? Okay, they've taken a basic class with you. They want to continue. They want to take some additional training. What are your recommendations?
Absolutely. So first of all, on the to make a comment towards your kind of like bad instructor experiences, I've never really had a bad one. I've had courses I've signed up for that I didn't feel really benefited me, but I kind of switch from the mode of an instructor, from a student to an instructor in those courses. And I try to view them through that lens and take away, what I would like to do that they're not doing in my own courses. And if I hadn't viewed that deficit from a student perspective, I probably wouldn't have gained that as an instructor. So that's not to say, I had someone ask me a couple months ago, they were like, is there anyone you just hate? And I was like, in the industry. And I was like, honestly, there's one person that
Brad Pitt. Gosh.
Yeah. Gosh. I mean, I just talked about this one individual who has been just terrible to some of the best people I know. And I had no room for her in my, life. And afterwards he was like, yeah, I don't hate anyone. I don't think hating is efficient. And I was just like, man, like, all right, that was kind of a trick question here. Yeah, so I'm not trying to say that like there aren't bad instructors, because there absolutely are. My NRA certification course was one of the most atrocious experiences. I taught a woman to shoot in that class who was becoming an instructor and did get certified by the end of that course. So not all instructors and programs are created equally. As Craig Douglas likes to say, to call this an industry is to say we have standards, and we just don't. So it's up to you to set your own standard as a student and as an instructor by pulling what you can from other vetted instructors out there. So, and I know we're going to talk about that more today, but that is kind of how I cope with that, is by kind of switching from a lens of a student to an instructor and viewing them there so that I can avoid putting my students through that personally. And then I usually leave like, okay, that's affirming on, these certain places. But back to your question about how I start students, I actually start them with verbals. So we work through the ask, what Craig calls managing unknown contacts, how to manage people coming into your space that are essentially unknowns. So he actually uses that term, unknowns, as opposed to like the bad guy. These are undetermined, right? Yeah. Undetermined.
Because that's real.
Absolutely. And I do not like, again, the standard of teaching people how to shoot and draw from holster and then nothing else. There are so many situations that can be avoided with situational awareness, defined by optimizing your senses around your environment, not being on your phone, not having your ears occluded, just keeping track of people around you, looking out for what ShivWorks has coined pre-assault cues, or at least utilizes pre-assault cues to avoid situations. My guy and I were on a walk the other day, and this dude, I was carrying, obviously, but and by the way, I haven't carried like every single day of my life until about a year and a half ago. So we should talk about that. I'm not trying to shame you. Like anyone who's listening, if you don't carry every day, this isn't a shame comment, but I personally carry every single day. So I was carrying, and this guy turned his bike perpendicular to our path and stopped. And we were so far that I had to ask for his phone so that I could zoom in. And I think this was after you came on the podcast, or no, it was the day before that. I had to zoom in with that crazy iPhone zoom, and he was just staring right at us, waiting for us to come down this kind of secluded portion of the path. So I was like, hell no. And we turned around completely. He went through ECQC with me, and we completely hightailed it a different direction because we were like, avoid the fight. So I never had to draw my gun. I had my El Nino blade on me. Both of us had pepper spray, and we never had to do that because we got to avoid that,
he had the shockwave.
Obviously, yeah, he had the 590 shockwave strapped to his back per usual.
Not appendix?
No, I know. He's wearing shorts, so kind of hard. That's so funny. But yeah, so I absolutely believe in doing managing unknown contacts before anything. So we work on ask, tell, and make. So someone comes into your space, asking them to hold it up where they're at. If they're coming into that, especially like 0 to 5 to 10 foot space where it would become an absolute brawl if they were to move in and you couldn't access your tools. So how to ask someone to step back, inquire on what the hell they're doing coming into your space, moving on to telling them to back up, all the way to implementing tools for the make portion of the ask, tell, make. So we do that. We then do a pepper spray unit inspired by Chuck of Agile Training. We use inert training units, so it's spearmint water and glasses. People love that unit. We laugh through it so much. I had this girl who didn't hear a word I said when I was teaching the 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, left to right, right to left. She just held down the sprayer on the other girl the other day, and we were all laughing so much. And it really loosened up these feelings before we get into gun handling. So I really like that aspect. And then we move into dry fire gun handling. I can tell everything I need to know about someone with how they even take a gun out of their bag. Do they pick the gun up by the trigger guard? Do they even think about the muzzle direction? Of course, I check their guns before we ever begin. I have them all set their encased guns on the line. I go up and check them, and then I see how they handle their firearms. We establish, of course, safety rules before any of this. We move into dry fire from the compressed position. So working on the 3 position to the 4 position. If that is, again, it's one of those things with standards. Every instructor is going to have their different numbering of the concealed carry draw. But for me, 3 is compress ready, 4 is full extension. So the 3 to 4 position, and then we build slowly in the 1 to 2, which is 1 is clearing that concealment garment while building your grip on the gun for 2, and then drawing that out, canting the wrist to ensure muzzle direction stays forward. And that is always one of the hardest sections. So I like to start with 3 to 4 and then build back 1 to 2 all the way to 1 to 4. And then we would talk about safe reholstering. I don't currently offer, motorcycle. We don't currently offer any retention shooting in a class structure. I'm still new to teaching that. I was fortunate enough to AI for Craig at this last ECQC class. The retention shooting portion, that is a very just niche skill and technique to teach. So I'm doing that very slowly in private lessons. And of course, the liability is very high. So I'm trying to make sure I check myself and put myself where I'm actually at as an instructor.
In your lane. Yeah.
In my lane. Absolutely. And that's the kind of path I take students on. I've been an instructor for 2 years, in the sense that I've probably only had a total of 50 students in this time. But every single class, every single private lesson, I learn so much about myself and about the curriculum. I get to ask for feedback. I'm lucky enough to have pretty honest students. And that's where I'm at with shield defense training.
So for you, going from student to instructor, how has that affected you? How is that? Has that been a positive or a negative for your skill set?
Absolutely. Oh, such a positive. I've had to think of things critically when it comes to, there's knowledge and then there's applied knowledge. It's kind of that concept. I had to go back to the amount of times I've reworked my curriculum is hilarious. I've completely deleted entire pages and just restarted before, because when I started out, I was literally using slides and going off of the NRA resources. Terrifying. I would get feedback from students I really wish we wouldn't have sat and talked so much. I wish we would have gotten to firearms handling earlier. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Sometimes I would offer private lessons to those particular students that gave me that feedback, just as a thank you and an opportunity to build off of that. And now there's not a single slide. I send homework to my students afterwards. That's been a thing too. That's not just to bring them back, that's to give them something to work on. So when we go through dry fire, I tell them how to structure their at-home training and then how to structure their live fire training, even if they never come back to me. So it's been an absolutely positive experience. And it's also it has revealed gaps in my knowledge, weaknesses. Cool. The fact that retention shooting is I'm almost so nervous to teach it has opened
That's
this.
A good sign.
Yes.
Because you have a realistic expectation and awareness of your own personal limitations.
Absolutely. It's
because how many instructors get some new concept and I'm just going to go with this. This is my new curriculum. No, that's
absolutely bad. Yeah. So it's kind of like taking those thoughts captive and being like, okay, where does this confidence gap, and that's a great book, by the way, The Confidence Gap, but where is that gap? And then linking it back to competency and then finding where that lack of practice is to ultimately like fill it in.
Yeah. And what you said about removing pages, I remember, I don't know how long ago, maybe 20 years ago, teaching an active shooter response course. And I had pages and pages and pages, and I needed to distill it to something usable. And this isn't even firearms. This isn't shooting. There might be some orientation to handling, but for the most part, so much. And distilling that and figuring out, okay, what's going to benefit the student the most? And that by itself, for me, that was a great experience to realize, yeah, I can't take everything. I can't take all my knowledge and just drink from the fire hose. No, we need to stay on task. We have time limitations. We have resource limitations. Focus on the basics.
Absolutely. And also Craig told me when I AI'd for him, he was like, I appreciate how you don't overload each student with tasks. He's like, I watched you walk up and talk to students and you just give them a few pointers. And I was like, oh man, thank you so much. Like I learned that from Lena. When I AI'd for her, sometimes she'd tell me like, that's way too much. You just gave them 5 focuses. And that really comes down to, on a neurological level, we have the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. We can really only focus on one task consciously. That's why they don't like us to text and drive, for example. I know, crazy.
But we can multitask. What?
We can, very inefficiently.
Yeah, that is not very good.
You're right. We totally can. I can.
We probably shouldn't
play the cello, but I probably shouldn't. It's not the violin. Anyway, that's bad. That's a bad analogy. You get it. Whoever's listening. Hopefully you're not texting and driving while you're listening. Moving on. So if we give them too many tasks with the conscious mind, they're not going to be able to perform. We want to build their capabilities to the place that their subconscious mind is running, and then they're able to refine their skill one task at a time. If there's a safety concern, that's different. I will harp on someone until their finger is in the right spot on their gun. And their left hand grip doesn't have to be flush with your right in their grip if their trigger finger is not coming back off of the trigger guard and onto that high retention spot. Once they start doing that regularly, then I can say, hey, give me some more connection with your support hand. I'll give them like a physical kind of stimulus. And then if anything, sometimes I even draw a line with their hand connection point to ensure that line connects properly, for example.
Yeah. Makes total sense. I've seen other instructors do that and it just works. And it's a tangible visual cue, reference point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So also with those new shooters, how do you approach gear issues?
Gear issues. So first of all, coming from one of the things I do as on a side is I've co-founded a company called Arsenal, and we help influencers become essentially brands. So people who are wanting to actually sell their content and their audience in the sense of, collaborative posts and paid posts. we help them do everything from determining, who their audience is, aligning them with brands, negotiating contracts, and helping on the legal financial side. And the only reason this came to fruition is because my business partner and I, Rebby, we were talking about the fact that so many people do not know how to communicate expectations. And so that bled into my firearms instruction. Every single class description has gear expectations and restrictions. So sock holsters, sticky holsters are not allowed. I have written criteria for what I determine, my standard of a good holster, right? Because this industry, like it has very few standards, we have to set our own. And the only way we can do that is to explore. I can't tell. Can you hear me?
I think there might be aliens or something interfering with internet. I don't know.
Yes, it's definitely the jets around.
Everything, the F-22s. Everything seems to. Well, no. So with this app, what it does is it is recording on both sides, and then when we're done, it will upload hopefully your clean signal, so we won't have these disruptions. Hopefully.
That's fantastic.
Hopefully, but it appears that your image and your audio have cleared up.
Beautiful.
Okay,
we're back.
Part.
Nice. Okay.
For the most part, I can tell that you're human.
Yes, there we go.
So that's good.
Yeah. So as far as you know, I had a class with a girl and a gun. I went and taught my curriculum for hybrid carry, which I consider to be not on body, but also not off body. So think of not a shoulder bag, but a fanny pack. Yeah. So in that class, I asked all the women to bring the bags that they currently carry with, because I wanted to see, one, what's out there. It's a perfect opportunity to not have to buy these things and be able to kind of touch, their bags. But if they were going to perpetuate, carrying that bag, I wanted to give them some type of method to draw from it. I developed a curriculum for a bag that I came out with called the Sofia bag. I'm no longer associated with the brand that created the bag, but I developed a curriculum to teach the draw from the bag, and it all has to do with muzzle direction and safety. Not only just being by yourself and not muzzling yourself, but also if you were to train on a line where you have people to your left and your right, how to draw by blading to the side to avoid muzzling. So I was able to take their bags and show them the pros and cons of these bags, right? Some of them were just absolute shit. I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss on here. And some of them were reasonable and could be modified slightly to become more optimal. For example, a lot of bags that have zippers sell zippers that are the size of,
the little tiny
press, on my pin. That's not a good enough index point when you are trying to access your firearm in a scuffle. If you think of fine motor versus gross motor skills in a time of stress, you want to optimize gross motor. It's a lot easier to use that. So think of me holding this can with my entire palm, and manipulating this can versus having to twist this cap off of a chapstick. That is gross compared to fine motor in this case. So we want to create a gross motor contact index point to draw from the bag. So we would take these bags and talk about, you can take this tab, pull it off, and put your own large pull tab on it. So those are the kind of gear issues I've run into. I've learned to just teach in pros and cons, and then have a list of just completely contraindication and indicatory pieces of equipment, like a sticky holster.
Yeah.
In my opinion, sorry.
You're spot on.
Okay.
Spot on. For me, one of my favorite things to do, and of course, everything I have is put away and not near me. I have a couple bags, including a chest kit where it has a zippered area for a firearm, and I have the zippers oriented specifically on a specific side. Mm-hmm. So this is not my shooty hand. This is my access hand.
Right.
And the lead zipper has a large glow in the dark tab.
Glow in the dark. That's next level.
So I can see it, grab it, and
and yank it. How cool. That's so cool. I have to add that. That's like that's the next level. Yeah, I have the Hill People gear pack, and
it is a Hill People gear.
Is it?
What I'm running. Yeah.
Do you want me to just grab mine? I haven't.
Sure.
I think it could be okay. This is actually a really good example of this. I'll be right back.
If you're just joining us, we're talking about stuff because we talk about stuff. And here is a Ruger Red Hawk in 45 Colt. I just wanted to do that because I'm not on YouTube. Additionally, here is my Taurus 82 with my home gunsmithing job. Yay, with an actual sight channel. It's so pretty. Didn't even use a Dremel. What was that?
Are you entertaining?
I am. I'm mostly entertaining myself.
Oh, nice. That's so funny. That's awesome. This is my it's all black. I pretty much only own black, but this is my Hill People gear pack. So
racist.
Yes,
you are such a racist. If that's all
what are you talking about? No, it's not. There's no way, dude.
Nothing.
Not even for a second.
If you re-listen to this, it might make sense.
I'm also Cuban, by the way. I could be a spy. I speak Spanish and I'm half Cuban, and you would never know. But this is my bag that I run and hike with. So what I've done to modify this, I put all of my front zippers on the left so that the only tab that is available is on the right. And I switched it out for one of Lena's pull tabs. Otherwise, it came with a zipper tab about this big.
Yep.
So I switched it out for this bigger pull tab. Andrew Henry of Henry Holsters was kind enough to sew some additional Velcro into the back of the pack so that my Velcro backed holster could connect a bit more.
Nice.
And I think those are the only 3 mods, which it's not really a mod to have these over here, but I like them to be on that side. I guess I don't even need this pull tab. I should cut that one off. But I always have pepper spray in the front, the MK3 unit by Palm. And then I'll have my concealed carry firearm, which right now is the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard inside and a Velcro backed holster. So that's kind of how I run that. So those are modifications that can be made. So if a woman were to bring this to class, I would just say, how can we optimize this setup for what this bag offers? And we would go from there. Because also this stuff is expensive. The Hill People gear snubby chest pack, I think, is like $130. And then a holster is going to be $60, $70. So like these people come with the gear that they have. And my goal is to, talk about how we can optimize it. And then if it's completely unsafe, it's something that I just totally cannot recommend they carry, I'll tell them. And then I'll give them resources based on price. So that's kind of how I approach that.
Well, if you think about it also, how many people, so we talked about the B-class thing. Not many people even know what that is. How many people are thinking about the orientation of the zipper to access a firearm? Well, let's remove all the people that aren't carrying a firearm that way. That's even a smaller demographic. So yeah, these are important things that, and it's funny when I might post something like that. Like I posted, of course it's in my pocket, I can't access it. I posted color coding my speed loaders to caliber.
Oh, nice.
And people are like,
fantastic.
I never thought of that.
Right.
Yeah, I just kind of thought of it, and it's not anything special. It's just kind of a thought going, this might make my life a little easier. And I want to share this. And if it helps someone, that's an absolute win. And just like zipper orientation, think about the way you have things set up.
Absolutely.
After this is done, also, when we're offline, I have a couple contacts that I don't know if you have that might assist if you want to continue on with that, having a production of that bag or similar.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I really would. I recently found grab bags, and have you checked out their stuff?
Mm-mm.
So I came out with a Zendira bag, which is magnetic. And so I wanted an athletic bag that was magnetic. And so they have this pack. I don't know the name of it. This is just, they have an OG and then they have this bag. So they don't really have many in their line. I like. So
that's what you mean by magnetic. So it's a clamshell. Okay. Oh, cool.
Yes, it's gross motor. They teach to put the bag over the right shoulder here. And so what you do, let me pull my shirt down. What you do is grab here and then draw out like so. and that avoids you flagging or muzzling any part of you, which I super appreciate. You can carry this in the opposite orientation and still avoid flagging yourself. That's something I'm working with them on. I wanted to present some options for curriculum on the opposite side, which is oriented like this, because that's how I carry. And they love the idea. They're very education focused. They want people drawing safely. And I appreciate that about them. So I actually met with them in Salt Lake yesterday.
They're local?
They are, yeah. They're
cool.
Basically in Sandy. And so I met with the owners because, again, this industry, so little standards. It's a lot about the people behind the brand. Like if you're going to align yourself with a brand and like contribute to their curriculum and put yourself out there like that with them, I think knowing them on a personal basis is great. They probably thought I was super weird. I just wanted to meet them. I was like, can I meet you guys? And they're like, yeah. So great people. And they're really like they're doing exactly what I would do if I owned a bag company. I would start with curriculum, and that's what they did. Cool. So Grab Bags YouTube channel, check it out for sure.
Any unusual spelling with their brand? Or is it just okay? No Z's or
right
umlauts. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And they're
absolutely
local.
They are. It's very cool. Some other brands along this vein of bags, the Vertex EDC bag that Lena came out with is great. It is a zipper bag. And I've just gotten to a point where I found I would prefer not to have a zipper. There's nothing wrong with that. I still carry the Hill People gear, but I'm to the point where I'm refining my technique. I have the resources, the time, and the passion to help just develop, a way to break down the pros and cons of all these bags. And so I've found through comparing these bags ad nauseum that it's not as efficient. But I'm going to create a video on that soon for my YouTube channel. That might even be this or next week's video, where I talk about draws from concealment from a hybrid carry bag, because that is just such an important topic. Yeah. I
could also, based on just seeing that bag and the way it opened, I could see having a spare mag oriented away on the lid.
They actually sell a Velcro mag sleeve for the bag, especially because this is their small and they have a large size bag as well.
And the Bodyguard 2.0 is absolutely tiny. It's tiny. And
they actually also came out with holsters. I don't have any affiliation with them officially yet. I would like to, because I like them. They have a holster that they sell with the bag, which is so important. Brands don't do this enough. I actually came out with a holster too for the Sofia bag, but you can see how this is offset from the back of the bag. It has the placard is offset from the actual kydex here. Where like my index is pointing, so that when you open the bag, you have this separation of the holster from the back of the bag to get a good purchase on the firearm. Get your thumb behind to build a full grip here.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So I love what they're doing. I'm like, yes, this is it. Keep going.
That's cool. And the fact that they included the magnet aspect too. And for me, I'm thinking, with the magnet, I personally would feel a little bit more comfortable with it if there was some kind of a snap or safety or something, just to make sure it doesn't, because I don't have hands-on with it. And I'm thinking of other magnet things.
They actually have another bag I'm trying to think of it is released. Okay, sorry, I was worried a little. They have I had to think about the one that was in the store, and did they already release this? Because he showed me some stuff yesterday that hasn't been. There is a lock for the actual, they have a bag that zips and magnetizes. So you can unzip it so that it's only magnet, but say you want to lock it up, you can zip it closed and lock it in the bag. So that's great for parents. Like if you want to take your bag off and set it down, you can zip it up, lock it, and set it down. I could see myself doing that as a parent. Like I would probably do that and set it like on top of the refrigerator or something, but just for like worst case scenario, if they learn to move the children learn to move a chair over and grab that there's, security built in.
You know what you could do also as a parent? Strap it to them and have the gun on their back so they can't access it.
Exactly.
Totally safe.
That's hilarious. Oh gosh, what is that? Oh my gosh, that's so random. Sorry. No, oh, am I bleeding? I'm bleeding from jujitsu on my foot. That's so funny. Sorry. Oh. That's hilarious. My feet get like little blisters from jujitsu. And I looked down and I was like, am I bleeding? I am. Sorry. That was so random.
You're falling apart.
I am.
Leprosy.
It's luckily it's not that. It's just being a badass. I don't know what to say.
That's right.
Like, I'm just a badass. Like
randomly bleeding.
I know. I was like, what the hell? Sorry. So funny. But yeah, so for those of you out there, wanting to considering hybrid, I was that person that was like Filster Enigma, Glock 19, Holosun 507, nothing else. Everything else can get effed. And then I went through a period where, Lena came out with her Vertex bag. I actually had an abdominal injury and I was like, oh crap, like I need a bag. And it felt really insecure. Like I felt really insecure with it because first of all, I crapped on it so much, like openly, publicly, which was not good. That was a lesson I learned. But also I didn't know how to draw from it. And so I think a lot of that like judgment came from a lack of competency and understanding. And so it led me down the path again of kind of being a student and thinking about, how do we set a standard for good bags out there? Because it's so in right now. Like you've got Cakes Concealed, Vertex, you've got 509. I think that's a famous brand.
511?
511, yeah, but there's one called 509 Industries, I think.
I don't know.
Fanny pack.
Again, yeah, I stay in such a small little
945, sorry. 9? Yeah, I don't blame you. It's very niche. Like I've just done a deep dive because I developed my own bag, but yeah. Absolutely.
So changing gears slightly.
Do it.
The fourth most difficult thing with a podcast for me. What about your future direction? What's the next training you're wanting to do? What's on the horizon?
Great question.
What is a further goal that you want to accomplish?
Sure. My attention right now is very much on the Shotgun World shoot. Lena and I dry fire Monday, Wednesday, Friday for an hour in the mornings with a full mag tube of inert rounds to weigh down our shotguns and run and gun. And then we train live ammo once to twice a week. So right now my capacity is very much taken up by that, but I try to make it to the range a minimum of once every 2 weeks to train from each of my concealed carry holsters, everything from retention to full presentation to drawing and not shooting, like not training myself to shoot every time, along with pepper spray. And
that's a thing.
And blades. So I do have my personal training sessions. I have enough information and drills from classes that I've written down and said I need to work on this. Like I have enough homework to where I don't feel like I have to go take the next cool class. I can work that stuff in my own time. And I hope that's a perspective that helps people. If you're listening and you don't know where to start, the cool thing about investing in a class, both financial time and otherwise, is that you can write down homework for yourself and even talk to the instructor. If that instructor can't sit you down and say, I've watched you shoot this weekend, this is what you need to work on, visit maybe a different instructor and start working on ways to optimize your personal training. I will do ECQC again. I would like to,
that would be your fifth.
That would be my fifth. I'd like to become an instructor for ShivWorks. If anything, just do like AIing for Craig on the range and helping, because I just learned so much by not only watching him, but the students and how the students interact. I would eventually like to actually get Chuck Haggard's pepper spray instructor certification. So that's on the list with agile training. And then I just recently competed in the tactical games and my rifle shooting was atrocious. And so I literally wrote down in my notes, there's just a random note in my phone that says long range precision rifle must learn. Because I didn't know that when you canted your LPVO completely sideways, that you don't just hold over horizontally, but vertically.
Yeah, because there's
what the hell? Yeah, apparently. And it's like the opposite of what you think. Whatever.
Mark Smith did a really good video on this. Yeah.
Mark who?
Mark Smith. Mark Smith, former plumber.
Oh,
amazing shooter.
Okay.
In fact, I need to find that video and re-upload it because it was one of my favorite videos that he made for me. that it went down with the YouTube ship.
What were you at subscriber wise when they took you down?
Oh, not very many, like 3, like
3,000?
literally 3. No, 3 people.
Oh,
I think
gotcha. Okay.
No, 3 people. Seriously?
Are you joking?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I think I was at 25,000.
Okay. Yeah, it
wasn't huge, but it was my little corner.
Still, I have 13,000 on YouTube. I would be so proud to have. I'm proud to have 13, and I would be proud to have 25, and I would be effing pissed if they took down. I had 130,000 on TikTok when they took me down for Fit for Fia. So they tried to remove me recently on Fit for Fia 2. That's like my new TikTok page. But I almost have like PTSD when I post on there. I'm like, it's gonna be gone soon. So
yes.
But I've written down his name. Yeah, I would really like to take some long precision rifle.
There's a guy local for that. He lives up in my neck of the woods.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I would love that. Buck Doyle.
Buck Doyle. Awesome.
Fantastic.
Precision, special purpose rifle, SPR type, semi-automatic precision rifle course. And he goes down to, I think he goes to Price.
Okay.
And he has this whole huge open area with targets set up. And it's an awesome experience. I think I've been through twice. And it's fun. He's a great instructor, great guy. It almost feels kind of like a getaway going and doing this. And so it's been a bunch of years since I've been there, but basically we go down to this, not a camp. It's kind of a hotel, breakfast, dinner place.
Bed and breakfast?
Kind of. It's really cool though. Yeah. But that's basically, that's where we go. That's where the classroom's at. And then we'll all eat together and go out to the range area, and it's cool.
That's fantastic.
It's especially cool if you happen to go, and this is not sarcasm, if you go during bad weather. It is a really good test of you and your equipment.
I believe that. That's what I love about USPSA.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to get. Start raining. Yeah. And then as long as there's not like crazy lightning or tornado, they'll still keep the show going. So,
well, one of the classes I went to, it snowed, and that was an awesome day of training.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I love snow. Especially for not for USPSA, because your fingers freeze and then you can't shoot very fast. At least if you're me, I have some like neuropathy stuff. I'm sorry, I'm really trying not to cuss. It's been so hard, Matt.
Your mom is not very happy with you right now. You're not cussing enough.
Exactly. No, but I shot a match. The first match I came out to Logan, actually. It was my first experience here in Utah. It's first time ever here. Shot the Logan match. It snowed. And that was a lot. My fingers were frozen, and I was like miserable trying. It felt like pulling the weight of the trigger on the Taurus 692.
Yep.
So,
but did your fingers start bleeding?
No.
So that's good.
No, just like my foot right now, apparently, so randomly. But beyond that, I wanted to learn how to operate a revolver. That was cool. So that I checked that box in the sense that I now know how to grip a revolver roughly, and I know how to reload one. And that to me was just a goal of mine. So that was really cool to check that off. But as far as this year, I would say just maybe doing one more ECQC, another EWO, edge weapon overview, because I'm incorporating blades into my everyday carry setup, especially for bag carry. Blades are an incredible space maker. So learning how to utilize the clinch pick and the El Nino push dagger a bit more has been a goal of mine. So that's really it for this year. Next year, I would like to compete in the tactical games. My guy wants to also compete in the TAC games with me. So I'll probably go take a long range rifle precision course.
It's fun.
A lot of words.
It's fun.
It sounds like a lot of fun.
They get heavy though.
Yes. If it's lighter than my shotgun, I'll be happy. I don't think anything won't be lighter.
I think your shotgun probably is going to be lighter than a scope.
Really?
Yeah, possibly.
Okay, maybe a loaded one then. Here, let me
because
show
you're looking at
you.
an optic, you're looking at probably some form of a fore-end. You might even have a light, a tripod.
True.
And also, well, depending on whether you're running 10s, 20s, 60s, run magazines, it all adds up. If you put a silencer on it, throw a can on there, and it's that
that's
much
a good
better.
point. This is my shotgun length right now.
Yep.
And when we train in the gyms in the morning, we load it with inert rounds to weigh it down. So like nothing makes me look more buff than this thing. My entire back is like activated. Like I've never seen my triceps pop like this. But like I have to do that.
Yeah. And that shotgun's so large, it's not reasonable to practice at home.
Right.
Because you're going to be going through ceilings and walls and knocking ornaments off.
Yes, we're lucky enough to have a gym that allows us to dry fire.
Yeah.
So that's really fantastic. Otherwise, I don't like to do it at home here. And then you drop your inert rounds on the ground and your neighbors are like really annoyed with you. So there's like a lot of reasons why
and you can't do it in the yard because someone's going to call.
Heck no. No, Lena and I will dry fire in her, like she has a dry fire room. And we'll dry fire in there and we like close the windows and then like turn music
really high
on.
ceilings?
So that actually no. This is one of her like sub levels. So it's actually like
hitting.
Yeah, we don't ever hit the ceiling, but I guess we don't really hold them up high anyway. Like we go from here to on the ground, like so that we can rest our arms. So I guess I've never wanted to like lift it up high.
So when you put the bayonet on it, that's when you're going to be hitting the ceiling. Okay.
I want to make that a piece of content. You're giving me so many ideas. By the way, I'm going to film that video today. So Matt came over to my studio yesterday and saw my shotgun 590 Shockwave by Mossberg. Yeah. And I told him, I was like, I need a short barrel rifle to do this idea where I take the Savior violin case, and I'm also a violinist, pull my violin out and then pull out a gun. And I was like, but I don't have anything small enough. And right after I show him the 590, he was like, what about the 590? And I was like, oh my God, you're right. It's like literally right after I showed it to him.
And it is a unique, cool looking 590.
Yes. I didn't look up, hold on, Shockwave. I got to look this up.
It's like a marine type with a stainless, nice wood.
Yes. Stainless steel. I'm going to images to see if I can find it so I can click on it. Night is coming to my mind. Night something. But I have no idea.
M. Night Shyamalan?
Yes. Oh my God. It's an M. Night Shyamalan. No.
And there's a twist at the end when you're done with the,
That's so funny.
The last shot is a slug every time.
It was never actually real.
It was never real. It was a toy the whole time.
Gosh. I'm not seeing it on these photos.
That special.
It's that special. I'll text Scott my contact with, let's see, Scott. Hi, do you recall the name of the custom 590 job? Trying to share.
And time will be ticking. Let's see how quickly he responds.
I know. He's actually usually very quickly, especially.
We're gonna see how important you are.
I know, right? He's one of the, I believe, sales reps of Mossberg in the area. Freaking awesome. What a great guy. But that's about where I am. I'll send you the video once it's ready to go. It should be up sometime next week. Let's see. That's not him. Oh, dang it.
We're gonna see how you rate.
Yes.
But yeah, it's not the typical definitely not the typical
it's not
Shockwave I've seen.
I wanted to get myself a gift for the world shoot. So which I will go into the world shoot is a
Nightstick Chrome.
Whoa, that is what it is. Dang it. How did you do that? Okay.
I have this thing called Google.
I couldn't find it. What the heck? I literally typed in Chrome.
Oh, that's funny.
That's so funny. And then Jerry Mitchell just pops up. But yeah, yes, there it is. Hell yeah.
It's
What is it going
cool.
for?
And it's funny because probably closer to 10 years ago, I would have said, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Now seeing some of my buddies do what they can do with this kind of stuff,
Yeah.
it's not dumb.
No,
You can do
I
some
haven't
really
shot
cool
it.
stuff with these.
I'm kind of nervous to shoot
though.
it. It's like it's a pistol. I've never shot a pistol grip shotgun, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to like just get ready.
Look up videos with Rhett Neumayer.
Okay.
And yeah, you thought it was bad when you were bleeding before. You're gonna have a gash in your face from the way he shoots it. Because he does this cheek thing. But he's effective.
That sounds
Man,
familiar.
he's fast.
Yeah.
Well, he runs in similar circles.
Yes. Okay, that's good to know. Shotgun pistol grip. I have so much to look up after this.
Actually, it's a bird's head.
Okay.
That's the bird's head grip.
Oh, okay. Got you.
Yeah,
okay.
Because a pistol grip would be more vertical.
Oh, it's called a
bird's head.
Bird's head?
Bird's head.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. That's not.
And of course, and you know what? There's a good possibility I'm saying it completely, or I'm completely wrong. I'm sure in comments people will correct me, and that is
okay. Perfect.
fine.
Yes, correct.
I encourage that because that's engagement.
Yeah, that is engagement, good and bad. I'll always take it.
Don't read the comments.
Right. Never read the comments. I pay my sister to respond to people. That's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, I know that we talked about some kind of instructional things. I recently wrote Tom Givens of Range Master because he's trained so many instructors over the year, and he's tried to create a standard for that. And I'm looking forward to having him on the podcast to do a deep dive into kind of how people can establish a standard for themselves, especially if they don't have the time, finances, proximity to do something like Range Master. But there really aren't that many resources out there. You have NRA, USCCA, which are not. How do I say this? They are.
They're general population.
Yes,
they're lowest common denominator.
Absolutely. That's a great way to say that. Very, very, very foundational. If you're someone who has no experience writing curriculum.
They're pre-foundational.
That's a better way to say it. They're like the seed, not the roots. So, for those of you that maybe need a touch point, and a lot of ranges don't allow you to teach unless you have something like that. Yeah. It's good for liability purposes. So there are some benefits that are not, maybe foolproof to it, like having it for liability to give you reason to go do it. So yes.
And it's experience.
Yes, it's absolutely experience. Yeah. But I'm excited to have that episode. And I actually would like Craig to come back on and talk about that because he's still out there teaching, trying to help set a bit of a standard for the rest of us. So I appreciate that.
So who would you say is part of your tribe? And I don't mean part of your tribe where you're the head honcho and you have all these underlings. I mean the people that you associate. The reason I ask is within the gun industry, within the training industry, there are these different cliques, and a lot of them fit together. Everything that I've found that somehow touches Tom Givens or Range Master, I appreciate. I enjoy. They're good people. There are these different realms in training that I'm a fan of. And so in primary and secondary, I have a bunch of friends who have their own little cliques, and we all just get along so nicely. Anything involving I think this is a drinking game at this point when I bring up Darcy in Arkansas. Anything associated with Rich Mason and Darcy, you know what? You are absolutely good.
Yes.
Same with everything with Range Master, and there are multiple. Craig Douglas is part of that.
Yes.
And at Haggard, clearly. Who would you say? Because I know you have your top 5.
Right.
And I could see that being part of this.
Absolutely. My top. What I was telling you about is my the 5 guys in the industry that I know and have fully vetted for over 3 years that I trust and look to for, I don't like to call it mentorship, except Craig is truly a mentor, but whose opinions I respect and people who I would reach out to for just a gut check in like a very kind of pure and professional manner. That's absolutely Craig Douglas, Caleb Giddings, of course, which I know that shocks you, but it's true.
It's
Chris
mostly
Long,
a joke. It's a joke that because he's an awesome guy,
no, he is.
awesome shooter.
You're joking.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have met in the capacity we did if you really
and he wouldn't be on my podcast so frequently. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I tend not to associate with people that
yeah, they do not get to use your platform if they don't. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I love that we can. Yeah, you get it. Also, Chris Long, the marketing manager of Walther. He's become just a great friend of mine. Always supported my endeavors, even if it wasn't with Walther, which I always appreciate. And then, of course, Craig Douglas with ShivWorks. Did I already say him?
I would say him again.
Sure. Give him another spot.
Give him 3 times.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Chuck Haggard of Agile Training. But on the women's side, this has been huge for me. Tatiana Whitlock of Training in Context. She's been someone who has made time for me and mentored me from the beginning. She is a class act, as Craig likes to say, and a great just woman to model after when it comes to how she presents herself and positions herself. So Tatiana is a big, someone I look up to. And no
You're
matter
a lot
where
taller than she is, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She is a shorter woman, but her energy and her presence is tall. Big energy.
Yes. She was one of the instructors back when Walther introduced the PDP.
Yes,
and so they had
this. That's how I met her.
Had these instructors. And I got to go to this media event and take her block, and she did this positional shooting block, which was awesome.
Fantastic.
It was so good.
Absolutely. I took her class when the PDPF came out. I was part of that launch. And it again just set like a precedent. We did draws from concealment. Tatiana, of course, Lena Michalik, one of my best friends and absolutely a mentor.
Are you sure you're pronouncing her last name right?
I absolutely am. Yes. That's so funny. It's not Mikulik. But it is fun to hear all the iterations for sure.
Exactly.
Yes. And then I have a few, my tribe. I have 2 absolutely incredible best friends. One is Lisa Hamilton. She's a doctor of occupational therapy. So she stepped back a little bit from the industry, but she's who walked me through my first competitive shooting stage and match. And she does kind of concealed carry outfits and shares her journey online, Shoot with Lisa. And then Eliza Brooke, she is one of my best friends. She is the only female on the Classic Firearms YouTube channel. They're an awesome group of people. They just, they review firearms. They're trying to make sales for the retailer that they are. And she's brought kind of a female perspective to that channel and is almost a black belt in jiu-jitsu. She's training for it right now and just a overall badass. So I've got some it friends. I have this theory that it girls can only really be friends with it girls. And the theory comes from, I'm not just talking about beauty, even though they're all just incredibly beautiful. Oh my gosh. My Lisa, Eliza, and I are all over 5'10" and over. So we love to we always get stared at when we walk around because we look like Amazonian women. But beyond that, we're it women in the sense that we lift each other up. We all have a ton of accomplishments and standing. Sorry, kids are playing in the
kids tend to do that.
They do. Gosh, wow. Which apparently comes with screaming, but
So
we've been able to lift each other up and support each other on this path where I've come to find not everyone is supportive of it. So those are my people. That's my tribe.
That's
I don't
awesome.
think I've left anyone out because
you'll think of someone as soon as it ends. Start it back up. I forgot
exactly
whoever.
I'll text you.
I forgot Craig Douglas.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And that goes for the whole ShivWorks collective. Brian Frias is his kind of successor kind of person coming in to train under him and maybe not take over ShivWorks, but be a successor of it. And then of course Scotty Oates is in addition to that. So those are my people. As much as I probably annoy the hell out of them because I just pop up at ECQC like left and right. And I always text Brian. I'm like, can you make sure I'm on the roster? But they'll eventually like me if they don't already. So someday.
Just be persistent.
Exactly.
And bring energy drinks.
That's the way to go. That or just black coffee, no matter the weather. This is about the time I need to wrap up to go do that cool reel that you helped me with. But if you ever want to do a deep dive like this into any of these topics, like I know we just met each other and we just recently only learned each other's resumes. So if there's anything where you're like, ooh, she'd be a good spokesperson for this, or you want to pull in more female.
Yeah, you don't worry. Whether you like it or not, you're going to have to come back.
That's fantastic. Yeah. And I know quite a few amazing women that would feel, excited to come on a panel and chat. So
please.
If you're like, hey, would you have any people to round up?
Absolutely. And I am very interested in that. Before you take off, I'll just do my closing whatevers.
Please.
We'll go offline and I will suggest 2 contacts for you for making some equipment.
That sounds good.
So my favorite thing to say, and I said at the beginning, make sure you're supporting those sources that you found to be beneficial. It's likes, it's shares, it's subscriptions, it's comments. Make sure you're doing that with your favorite content creators. Sophia, where can people find you? Because this is also audio only, and they're not able to read what your nameplate says. Where can people find you?
Absolutely. Instagram and YouTube, Fit4Fia, FIT, 4 FIA. She Shield podcast is on all major and minor platforms. It's spelled just like that, SHE space SHIELD podcast. We are also on Instagram. I share episode highlights so that people can hopefully watch one and be like, oh, I'm interested in this conversation. I want to learn more. And then additionally, we post the video form on YouTube.
And the one that we just did yesterday, there's absolutely no value whatsoever. It's just random conversations that went all over the place. And
I think
no, there was some good stuff.
No, yeah. We learned about DARE.
Yes, we did, which I don't even remember.
Drugs and alcohol.
Resistance education.
Yes, there we go.
And I taught it for years. Okay.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So make sure you're supporting those sources. Let's see here. Big thank you to the sponsor, High Desert Cartridge. High Desert is all I shot at the class for the revolver section. The ammo worked great. And High Desert is my choice for everything revolver. And it's not actually because they pay me. It's because I was doing it before they paid me, because I already liked Steve's ammo because it works really well. As a matter of fact, that's what was in the speed loader when I showed that. High Desert Cartridge does all kinds of great stuff. They also do specialty loads if you need anything. You can find us at primaryandsecondary.com. Currently, the website is down. I don't know why. I hate my host. Yeah, but it's life. It's life. Yeah. Worse things can happen. But awesome talking to you. I'm going to threaten you again. You're going to be back. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But I could say it like that. Yeah, I know it sounds. Yeah. But also to do like a AAR after action of an ECQC, I think would be a lot of fun. Bringing Craig on and introducing some concepts to people who have not attended, who may want to. I'm one of them. I need to go to the class. I don't need to go. You need to go. So with that in mind, I will kill the feed. Also, big thank you to the Patreon subscribers. If you like this stuff, go to patreon.com/primary and secondary. You can support the network. We have this not Patreon. We do have Patreon. We have this Discord thing. We have all kinds of benefits. It's fun. I like this.
Sounds fun.
Been doing it for a couple of days. It's good. So I'll kill the feed now because we need to talk about secret things that you can't find out about. So what will happen is the screen will go dark for a second, the logo will go, and then we'll come back on screen.
That sounds good.
I guess we will be right back. Yes. You, the listener, will not. Ever.
All right. Bye, guys.
Sounds bad.